Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little salad with spring vegetables as well as a chicken Milanese. And the reason I wanted to do chicken Milanese is there's something special about fried. There's something special about the culinary technique of what fried does. There isn't a technique in the toolbox of a chef that delivers what fried does. And I'm here to celebrate that. There's a perception in America that fried food is bad food. That's a general belief that I want to challenge. It's not that frying is bad. It's what you're frying in. The oil that you're frying in. Is it lard? Is it tallow? Is it motor oil? Is it something other than something nice like a canola oil, which I'm using here, or olive oil? So I've taken a little bit of canola oil and a little bit of olive oil to it. So I have a very healthful oil that our bodies actually need. And I want to also make the connection that this oil, the canola oil, that's actually what McDonald's uses to fry its fried food and its French fries. It's a canola oil blend. So it's a very healthful oil. Another thing that impacts your health density of what you're frying is the actual product that you're frying. Are you frying a nice piece of fish, a lean piece of chicken, or you're frying a ribeye? So those are things that need to be taken into account. Now, we're going to just do a simple breading procedure. We hit it with a little bit of flour, then we go into egg, and then we go into a breadcrumb. Now, these recipes, again, are in a little packet that you might have. This breadcrumb blend, I could easily go to the store and get a pre-made seasoned breadcrumb, but we've chosen to make a nice seasoned breadcrumb ourselves. So I took plain breadcrumbs, I added some dried oregano, some dried basil, I added some fresh thyme, and then a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. That's my breadcrumb, and I mix that all up. But while I'm doing this, let me kind of see how we deal with the herbs. So here's a dried herb, it's a little dried basil. How you want to deal with that is you want to put that in your hand, and in there's a lot of what they call volatile oils, where a lot of the flavor comes from. I could just throw it in there now, or I could go the added step of crushing it. I crush it up in my fingers, and if you smell it, that flavor is really coming out. So I'm going to put that into my blend of breadcrumbs here. Now on fresh herbs, how we're going to deal with this is I'm going to pick this off the stems. What I'll do is I'll usually just take it and go from the tip down, take all of the herbs out, and then towards the end, sometimes you'll have a little tip. It's a very tender part of the stem, so I put that in there. I don't ever pick that out. And I'll do the same thing. I can save my stems. If you're making some soup, you can throw the stems into your soup stock if you like. And then what I want to do here is I want to chop these up. And just a quick knife skills demo would be making sure that you have the tip of your knife on the cutting board. You want to make sure that your hand touches the knife and your heel of your palm stays on the cutting board. It gives you more control of your knife. And then I'm just going to very quickly rock the knife back and forth with the herbs, going back and forth. Each time just kind of bringing it into the center, and then tapping it, tapping it, tapping it. So now I have a nice minced herb. I'll throw that in there. Okay. Now, let's do our chicken breast. This is what we do at home to make sure that we're trying to minimize the amount of cross-contamination that might happen of chicken juice or anything flowing anywhere. I wrap it in plastic. I seal the sides, so now it's this little compact little package. Put that on the cutting board here. Okay. And I'm going to take my mallet. I'm going to very gently tap it. You don't want to just pound it, because you will break through it and you will create a hole in it. So you want to be forceful, but you want to be also gentle at the same time. So I'll pound it like that. Okay, and then I'll flip it over. Again, it's all still compact, sealed inside the plastic. Now I've taken a 4-ounce piece of chicken and actually extended the visual of it a little bit by pounding it out thinner. Some people might call this a paillard, or we'll call it a Milanese. Now, I put my gloves on here, and I'm going to then now do my breading procedure. Now this is something I do for my kids. They love this chicken. What I'll do is I'll go to a club store and I'll get a lot of chicken breast. And I take the breast and I butterfly it down the center. And I get these two pieces. So this is actually one chicken breast that you might get at the grocery store, except it was butterflied with a knife. And then what I'll do is I'll bread all of the chicken ahead of time. I'll cook it all like I'm doing today. I'll let it cool and then I'll wrap it individually in plastic, keep it in the freezer, so that when my kids want to have the chicken, I'll pull a piece out of the freezer, pop it in the oven, and we're good to go. Okay, so now, this is a pretty important step. When I'm breading this chicken, you can do this, again, this is a pretty standard procedure. It's called the standard breading procedure. It's something, one of the first things we learned in culinary school. Pretty much goes the same way. Now you can have fun over here. You can use cracker meal, you can have different seasonings in your breading. But these things, these two components take pretty consistent. This is egg just mixed with a little bit of water, mixed up. And then here, this is just plain flour, all-purpose flour. But what you want to do here is you want to pretend that I made a mistake. I didn't want to go into the flour. I want to kind of get as much off as possible. I really want to just kind of get a light dusting of flour. So really, that's all you're really looking for. And then I'll put this into the egg. And then you let it drip off. You don't really want too much of the egg. And then here you go. Right into the breadcrumb. I'm going to just press that down, flip it over. Okay. So that's one. Now, you're also able to do two. Now I do have a little bit of salt and pepper here in the mixture here. But if you'd like to as well, you can then also season this. So I'll season this one with a little bit of kosher salt. And the reason I like kosher salt is because it's got a thicker grind. It's easier for me to feel. I'm able to really control how much I have going on. Here I have fresh ground pepper. Oh, I still have my lid on. Fresh ground pepper, you think of fresh ground pepper like you think about coffee. So like down for our specialty coffee, our espresso, we grind it right before we brew that cup of coffee so that you get the most flavor coming out of it. It's the same thing about pepper. You really want to grind that right before you're about to use it. That's where all the flavor comes through. Okay? Take my oil here.
So Dan, I'm seeing you change your gloves quite often. Talk to us about how important that is.
Well, changing your gloves is very important. Washing your hands is very important. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are not cross-contaminating. So as I'm working with this raw chicken, I know if I was in my kitchen, I would be sending the cutting board through the dishwasher, I'd be washing my hands. We're here demonstrating, nobody's really going to eat this, it's really just for demonstrative purposes. But you want to make sure that you're not cross-contaminating raw chicken with cooked raw chicken with some of the nice greens that I have over here. It's a food safety. Alright, so here I'm going to add my arugula. Alright, my other vegetables. Artichoke hearts. My fennel. Okay, so I'm going to save my tomatoes for the end and use that as a garnish. Here's my cheese. That is Parmesan. So yes, it's a good question. I'm sorry. So this is Parmesan that I took the big block and I took a vegetable peeler and I shaved it. So they would call that shaved Parmesan. Here the pasta. Let that going. And then now I have this little extra virgin olive oil. I believe the recipe that's 3 tablespoons. Here's my red wine vinegar, and this is where you can have some fun too. You can use balsamic vinegar if you like. If you like champagne vinegar, you can use champagne vinegar. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. At this point in time, I don't think I need to add salt. You can if you want to. Now's the time to do it, but I've got the vinegar, which can kind of entertain your palate and distract you from the need for a lot of salt. I also have the Parmesan cheese, so that adds the salt for you too. So I'm just going to give this a quick toss. Now I have chicken breast I've already cooked. I'll put that over. So I have that on the plate. Now easily I could cut this up and put it in the salad, but I want to work on presentation a little bit. This is an entree, so I'm going to put the chicken on the plate down below. I'm going to add my salad. Now the recipe I did here, this is about 4 servings, so you can imagine this is for a family. Okay? So I have this nice lemonade salad on top. And then we can garnish with the tomatoes. Voila. Essentially, that is it. If you also wanted to, if I had a little bit of juice below, I don't really have any. I could easily drizzle that over the top if I needed to, or if you wanted to do something like this. I've just added some more calories to it, but you don't need to do it. It's okay. So there you go. It's good enough to eat. So again, very simple.